He had built his company from nothing, and he wasn't about to let mistakes ruin it. That's what Daniel Reid kept telling himself as he stared across his glass office table at the woman who had once been his most trusted employee. Maya Turner. Quiet, kind, brilliant, the kind of person who stayed late, never complained, and carried a tired smile that somehow made the office feel lighter. But today, she wasn't smiling. Daniel's voice was cold, almost mechanical. You lost the account, Maya. That client was worth 3 years of partnership. I can't ignore this. She swallowed hard, her eyes trembling but calm. Sir, I didn't lose it. The proposal you sent last night, it was changed. Someone. I've seen the reports, Daniel interrupted sharply. I don't want excuses. You've been distracted lately. She blinked back tears. My mother's in the hospital, Daniel. I've been trying to keep up. Enough, he said, standing up. I'm sorry, Maya, but this is the end. HR will handle your exit. The words hung heavy in the air, colder than the marble floor beneath her. She nodded slowly, whispering, I understand. No argument, no outburst, just quiet resignation. The kind that said she'd already lost more than a job. Daniel turned away, pretending to be busy with his laptop. He didn't see the way she lingered. One last look around the office that had been her second home. As she walked out, the rest of the staff looked down, pretending to type, pretending not to see the woman who had once helped them all. By evening, her desk was empty, her chair neatly pushed in. A coffee mug still sitting there, world's most patient person. Daniel worked late that night. He told himself it was for the company, that leadership sometimes meant being ruthless. But as the clock hit midnight and the building grew silent, something inside him twisted. He opened his laptop again, scrolling through the reports. Something didn't add up. The timestamps were strange. Files saved at times Maya wasn't even logged in. He frowned. Maybe it was just a glitch. Maybe he didn't want to know. But then a message popped up on his security feed. Motion detected. Office floor 7, 12:27 a.m. He clicked it without thinking. The camera flickered, and there she was, Maya, back in the office. She wasn't stealing. She wasn't angry. She wasn't even packing anything. She was cleaning, wiping the desks, straightening the chairs, picking up coffee cups others had left behind. Daniel leaned closer to the screen, confused. Why would she come back for this? Then she moved toward the break area, toward the wall where her mother's photo used to hang in her cubicle. She took it out of her bag and placed it carefully back on the pinboard, right next to the company logo. She stood there for a long moment, silent, still. Then, in a voice the camera barely caught, she whispered, I still believe in what we built, Daniel. Even if you don't anymore. The screen went dark. Daniel sat frozen, staring at the reflection of his own face on the monitor. And for the first time in years, he didn't recognize the man looking back. Daniel didn't sleep that night. The image of Maya, alone, quietly cleaning the office she was fired from, refused to leave his mind. By morning, he looked exhausted. His assistant, Claire, noticed. Rough night? She asked gently, setting a cup of coffee on his desk. He just nodded. Pull up the access logs for last week, he said. I want to see every edit, every login connected to Maya's account. Claire blinked, surprised. Sir, I thought the matter was settled? It's not, Daniel muttered. Something doesn't make sense. Minutes later, lines of data filled his screen. And that's when he saw it. Files saved under Maya's name at 3:42 a.m. At times when she wasn't even in the building. Someone had used her credentials. His pulse quickened. He opened the security footage from that night. The grainy black and white video showed a shadow slipping into the office. Not Maya, but another employee, Ryan Hale, the senior project lead. Daniel's jaw tightened. Ryan, the same man who had been quick to help investigate Maya's supposed mistake. The same man who had recommended firing her. He watched as Ryan plugged in a flash drive, edited documents, and deleted backup files, all within a few minutes. A calculated move, a setup. Daniel felt his chest tighten with guilt. He had trusted Ryan. He had believed the wrong person. For the first time in years, he didn't think like a CEO. He thought like a human being who had made a terrible mistake. He called security. "Get Ryan in my office. Now." Moments later, Ryan entered, confident as ever. "Morning, sir. I have the new." Daniel cut him off. "Save it." He spun the monitor toward him and hit play. The color drained from Ryan's face. "Sir, this isn't what it looks like." "It's exactly what it looks like," Daniel snapped. "You sabotaged her work. You cost this company its most loyal employee." Ryan stammered, searching for words that wouldn't come. But Daniel had already made his decision. "Get out," he said coldly. "Effective immediately." As Ryan left, Daniel leaned back in his chair, hands trembling. He had fired the wrong person. And worse, he had destroyed someone who never stopped believing in him. For the rest of the day, the office felt heavier than usual. The laughter, the phone calls, the casual chatter, it all sounded distant. Daniel couldn't focus. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Maya's tired smile. The woman who showed up early, stayed late, and still brought flowers to the receptionist on her birthday. By evening, he made a decision. He grabbed his coat and drove across town, to the small, dimly lit hospital where Maya's mother was admitted. He hesitated outside room 214, unsure if she'd even want to see him. When he finally walked in, Maya looked up, surprised, her eyes red from lack of sleep. "Daniel?" she whispered, standing slowly. "What are you doing here?" He took a deep breath. "I came to say I'm sorry." Her silence was heavier than anger. She just watched him, waiting for him to say more. "I made a mistake," he continued quietly. "You didn't lose that client. You were set up. I saw everything on the security footage." Her lips trembled, but she didn't cry. "You believed him instead of me." "I know," Daniel said, guilt thick in his voice. "And that's something I'll never forget." Maya sat back, her hands shaking slightly. "I didn't want revenge," she said softly. "I just wanted to protect the team. I stayed late to clean up because I couldn't leave things in chaos. Even after what you did." Daniel's throat tightened. He had seen ruthless competitors, greedy investors, fake smiles. But nothing compared to the quiet strength of the woman sitting before him, the one he had broken. "I don't deserve your forgiveness," he said, "but I want to make things right." Maya looked away, eyes glistening. "Sometimes, Daniel," she whispered, "what's broken doesn't need fixing. It just needs honesty." Her words hit him harder than any punishment could. As he left the hospital, the weight of his own arrogance settled deep inside him. That night, Daniel returned to his empty office once again. The same security camera blinked red in the corner, watching, recording. Only this time, it captured something different. Daniel, kneeling by Maya's empty desk, placing a single white lily beside her mug, the one that said, "World's most patient person." He stared at it for a long moment, whispering, "I never should have fired you." But he wasn't done yet, because what Daniel did next would change both their lives forever. The next morning, the city woke up to rain, gentle, steady, and cleansing. Daniel stood by the office window, watching the drops trail down the glass. His reflection ghosted in the pain. He had spent all night thinking about Maya's words. Sometimes, what's broken doesn't need fixing. It just needs honesty. For the first time in years, he didn't think about profit, deadlines, or market reports. He thought about people. He called for an emergency staff meeting. When the employees gathered, the room was silent, tense, uncertain. Daniel took a deep breath. "I owe all of you the truth," he began. His voice wasn't commanding this time. It was human. "I made a terrible mistake. I fired the wrong person. Maya Turner was innocent, and she was the best part of this company. I let my ego make the decision, and I've learned that when pride leads, compassion disappears." You could hear a pin drop. Even the interns froze, shocked. He continued, "I can't undo what I did to her, but I can change the kind of company we are. From this day forward, no voice will be dismissed without being heard." A few employees clapped softly. Others simply nodded, eyes wet with quiet respect. After the meeting, Daniel drove straight to the hospital again. But this time, the nurse at the counter smiled. She checked out this morning, she said. Her mother's doing better. They went home. He hesitated. Then he asked for the address. A few hours later, Daniel stood outside a modest apartment building. He carried a small box in his hands, the one from Maya's desk, still with her name tag inside. When Maya opened the door, she looked healthier, calmer, surprised but not bitter. "I didn't expect to see you again," she said. "I wasn't sure I'd have the courage to come," Daniel admitted, handing her the box. "I wanted to return what's yours." She looked inside, her photo frame, her mug, a few sticky notes with quotes she loved. One of them read, "Be kind, even when no one notices." For a moment, neither spoke. Then Daniel said quietly, "I reopened your position, and I doubled your pay. But before you say no, it's not about work. It's about what you built here. The culture. Kindness. We lost that when you left." Maya smiled faintly. "It's not about the money, Daniel." "I know," he said. "That's why I need you to come back. Not for me, but for the people who still believe in what you taught them." She looked away, conflicted. The memory of humiliation still lingered. But behind it, she saw something new: humility, regret, change. Finally, she nodded. "On one condition," she said softly. "If I come back, it won't be as your employee. It'll be as your equal. We build this place together, with compassion, not control." Daniel smiled for the first time in days. "Deal." Months later, the company looked nothing like before. Employees laughed more. Ideas flowed freely. The office felt alive. And at the center of it all, Maya, now co-director, leading with empathy and quiet strength. One evening, as they walked through the hallways after hours, Daniel stopped near the same security camera that had once captured Maya cleaning in silence. He pointed to it, smiling. "That camera once showed me what real integrity looks like." Maya glanced at him. "Funny how truth doesn't hide. It just waits for us to be ready to see it." He nodded. "You saved this company, Maya. You saved me." She smiled. "No. You saved yourself, the moment you started listening." The rain began again outside, tapping softly on the windows, just like that night when everything changed. This time, it didn't sound cold. It sounded like peace. Leadership isn't about power. It's about humility. One act of kindness can rebuild what pride once destroyed. And sometimes, the people we underestimate the most are the ones who carry the light we've been searching for. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to be reminded that compassion is stronger than control. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because stories like this aren't just told, they're felt.